Good morning everyone. So I'm about to hit the road once again, and today I've got about a 75-kilometre cycle ride to a place called Budva. Two things are going to be a factor of today's ride. One is the terrain, and it looks a bit like a heart rate monitor when I've looked at the elevation. So I think that could be a bit hilly, so that'll be a challenge. And the second one is the wind, which is predicted to blow up to 23 kilometres an hour, and obviously it won't be blowing the way I want it to go, will it? But we'll see. You know, let's remain positive about these things. Maybe it's just going to blow me all the way to Budva and I'll be there in record time. Anyhow, I will leave you for now, and here's some images and videos from the road. Enjoy. Bye. So Olsinge, by all accounts, is a very busy holiday town during July and August. As I was there in May, obviously it's off season, which is probably why I got the cheap room and the roads are reasonably empty. The cycle ride is uphill, leaving from Olsinge. I wasn't actually staying in the old town itself, I was staying in a newer section. Still an uphill cycle ride to get out again though. My impression of Montenegro is that it's a lot more developed than Albania, and a lot of everything I've seen is based around tourism. So I'm only cycling on the coastal strip, obviously, and that's all I'm seeing. But the agricultural side, which was a frequent something to see in Albania, is just not there in Montenegro. Today, a bit of rain here and there, nothing too serious. I didn't have to don full wet weather gear, so every now and again I just put the waterproof coat on, and I have my waterproof socks on all day. So it was just frequent showers, and with those showers there'd be gusts of wind. Cycling in the rain is actually pretty good sometimes because the friction on the surface is less, and sometimes you go a little bit faster. It's quite strange. Today's rain was actually pleasant all the way through, and I really enjoyed the day's cycle. Now, a feature which I mentioned earlier of the day's cycling was going to be a series of tunnels. I actually lost track of how many tunnels there are between Olsinge and where I ended up in Budva, but I think it was 5, could have been 6. This is the first one that I came against. There was no indication as to how long it would be, so it's only until you get round the corner that you realise, okay, this is a little tunnel, no worries, got to go straight through it. It doesn't really matter about the lighting because you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hey, see what I did there? What my GPS does is tends to, if it sees a tunnel on the map, it wants to reroute me through the mountains. But it only did that twice, so there was one tunnel which it routed through, so sometimes I can't get my head around the GPS, but that's a completely other story for another blog post. This is a longer tunnel. Obviously I didn't know that until I got a bit closer to it. Some of the tunnels after this, it tells you how long the tunnel is. So I start off fine, I'm going through, I've got no lights on my bike, it's something I should probably invest in. Cars coming behind me I can see, cars coming in front of me are lighting the tunnel up, brilliant. However, get to about the halfway point, there's no cars coming in either direction, can't see a bloody thing. So I end up putting my foot on the pavement, there's like a raised pavement on the right hand side, and use the bike almost like a skateboard to get going until I can see again, because I didn't want to pull into the middle of the road to start cycling, and I couldn't get too far over to the pavement in case I hit the pavement. If I hit the pavement I might fall off the bike and I'm going to fall into the traffic. So I got halfway, and then it's just inch forward until I can see again, and then start pedalling, and I'm on the way out. And I've got a clip that I shot straight after this, which we'll go into now. So I hope you can hear me over the sound of the wind. I've just come through the first of 2 tunnels, the second of which made me say out loud, fuck me, because it was a bit long and dark in there. So I'm not sure how many more tunnels there are like that to go through, but at least I know what to expect now. Came out and then looked at this little bit of coastline. Looks quite stunning now. I imagine in a clear blue sky day in July or August it's unreal. It's a shame really now it's cloudy, it's overcast. It's rained a couple of times, just light showers, so no need for the full waterproof gear. Just putting a coat on when it does rain, and I've got my waterproof socks on. So I'm just heading that way now, about another 60 kilometres to go. Cheers. So heading off, the coastline is absolutely gorgeous. As I mentioned, on a clear blue sky day, that sea is going to be wonderful, and there's some great views. Towns on little islands in the middle of the sea, and craggy coastline, and it's a really good place to go. I mean, I can understand why it is busy during the summer. It's just really strange how it is so dead towards the end of May though. I mean, even now, okay, today's weather sucked, you can see this by the picture in front of you, I'm heading towards dark cloud. But May weather, you can get good weather. And I don't know, for industries like the tourism industry to build their industry just around 2 good months, which are July and August, I don't know, there's just something, I don't know, that goes against my idea of planning. Over on the left hand side there, you'll see 2 cyclists. We give each other a little wave, but we were going too fast in opposite direction. I've seen cyclists every day for the last 3 days now on bicycle tours, obviously always coming the other direction. Not stopped to speak to anyone yet because we've always seemed to be in a bit of an awkward place, but it's nice to see other people out on the road we're all having our own little adventures and experiencing it in our own ways. And obviously this should encourage even more people to go out and do some bicycle touring, although perhaps you might want to avoid that wet weather there. So this clip here I'm basically showing you because you can see that there's no shoulder for me to cycle on, and it's just one lane, and this one lane is basically the length of Montenegro, which is next to the coast. So I'm used to it now. If this was your first day of cycling, you'd probably be a little bit pissed off, but yeah, I'm used to it. What I'm not used to, of course, is the tunnels, and here we have yet another tunnel. So I really need to invest in some half decent bike lights. If I can pop into a bike shop, I'll get some. And you can see that everyone just goes thundering into the tunnel, and it's fine, for this first sort of like 50 metres I can see perfectly, especially if there's cars coming behind me because they're lighting the tunnel up with their lights. But again, you get to the halfway point and you kind of like, oh my god, and then you just have to get through the tunnel as best you can. So yeah, I don't know, all part of the experience, but that's not the most enjoyable part of the day. I mean, you can imagine what was going through my mind. So about here, I have my foot on the pavement again, and now I'm kind of scooting along until I can get to the other end. It's quite difficult cycling in the absolute pitch black because you don't know if you're leaning to one side or not on the bike. You don't know how far from the curb you are. It's quite disorientating, really. So it's good to reach the end of the tunnel and see that light. Yeah. I think there's going to be more tunnels in Croatia as well, so at least I'll be well used to it then. And obviously you can see that none of these are lit, which is a bit of a shame because it'll be better, because not all the motorists are putting their lights on. Anyway, that's enough of the day cycling. Let's have a look and see where I ended up. Time for the end of day roundup, and I find myself yet again in another hotel room. What's going on, Briggs? Well, it seems to me that Montenegro is the place to go for bargains, especially in the off season. This place has cost me £14.56, a random number to do with the tax. And she even asked me if there were 2 people staying. So if there were 2 people, that would have been like €7 each, which is ridiculous. So my one travel tip is to travel with somebody else because it's going to really reduce your travel costs. Anyway, big double bed, all for me now, ha ha ha. And some sweets, they left me some sweets, how nice is that? They're going to last about 2 seconds. There's a little balcony out there. There is a little mini kitchenette, which has got a fridge, a cooker, a kettle. Got the cupboards, we've got a TV up there with some sort of satellite thing, so probably get world news. And in there, once more, a shower. So far, I mean, I am travelling in the off season, but I've been, very impressed with the prices and the quality of the accommodation in Montenegro. One step closer to Dubrovnik, which is what I'm focusing on now, to be quite honest, because I'm meeting the missus there, and I'm quite looking forward to that. So only a couple of days left to go, and that's all I'm going to say in this vlog report. So I will talk to you all tomorrow. Take it easy. Bye. Good morning again, everyone. Time to hit the road once more. It's looking a bit overcast out there, which is a shame on the one hand because it means that the pictures I take in the video are not going to be like super clear and like those brilliant pictures you see in brochures and websites where everything's perfect, but sometimes life's not perfect. And in actual fact, when it's overcast, it brings the temperature down a bit and it makes cycling a bit easier. So I think today is going to be about 22 degrees, so that's good. Really short day cycle ride, it's 40 kilometers, there's a ferry ride included on that, and that's about all I've got to say. So I will hit the road and catch you later. So here we go then, onto the road once more. This, as you can see, is still single roadway. It's a main road in Montenegro, and I think as I think about Montenegro, it's a very small country and it hasn't got great infrastructure. So the surface of the road is fine, but it is only one lane. So to me, it seems that like it's a small country with a lot of cars on the road. Obviously, I'm feeling that from a cyclist perspective. But you can see the trucks going past, and you know, it's an affluent country, it definitely seems to be, but it just seems to lack that infrastructure to give it a bit more space. And as you're cycling, you can smell the exhaust fumes in the air. And if you can see all around, I mean, it's a beautiful surroundings. You've got the hills to one side, but you can actually smell the exhaust fumes, which, you know, that's just not right. As I got closer to a town, I saw two accidents. This is the second one. You can't quite see with the white car, but it looks like the motorbike had either run into the white car because the white car had pulled out or whatever. The Montenegrin driving has been the worst in, I think, of the two countries that I've been, or the three countries that I've been to so far. Again, it's probably just the road system's fault. There's just not enough room, and you can see how many cars there are on the road here. There's just too many. Well, once I cleared the traffic jam, I was heading down towards the ferry, so I was going to get a ferry across. So at this stage, I was a little bit disappointed in Montenegro. I know that I'm cutting out one of the more beautiful areas, which is Kotor Bay, by getting the ferry, but I need to do that because of time constraints. But once I got to this bit, it opened up a bit more, and you can tell how beautiful it is, and yeah, it's got something going to it. But would I be in a hurry to return back to Montenegro? I don't think so. I don't think it's my #1 bicycle touring destination in the world. Perhaps I should do a bit more research and have a look into the, you know, see if there's any routes up in the mountains. Maybe that's an option. So now I'm pulling down towards where the ferry is. The ferry's really simple. It runs, I think it's a 10-minute crossing, and there's one basically every 10 minutes. So you just follow the signs to the ferry, pull up to where the little kiosk is, buy a ticket, get on the next ferry and go across. All very straightforward. Just a small ferry, probably got about 10 or 12 cars on there. This is a little kiosk where you buy your ticket from. And this is me on the ferry, just going for a little wander, seeing what's what. Look at my lovely, happy, smiling face. I seem, I don't know, almost genetically impossible to smile at times. Never mind. Not a bad ferry crossing. You got to see some of the bay there. See the bay behind me, and the mountains around it. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's a pretty little area. That's the cars on the ferry. So for me on the bike, it was €1 to get across. I think the cars cost €4.50 maybe. And up that way, I could have cycled all around that entire bay, but it would have added a day onto my journey, and it's a day that I don't have because, as I said, I need to be in Dubrovnik for the 26th, and that's my priority right now, really. So this is getting ready to come off the ferry. I should have just cycled to the front, really, because everyone started flapping around. So basically the ferry just pulls up to the port, and there's a tiny little ramp, and you just roll straight off. Nothing too technical. I imagine life as a ferry worker on this has got to be one of the most boring ferry journeys in the world, but there you go. So I'm rolling off. I think the guy here is about to be funny. Yeah, very funny guy. And once I got here, it's to turn left, and I was heading to a place called Herceg-Novi. Yeah, I should have really read that before I just talked about it. And so on the way there, on the left-hand side is water, on the right-hand side is you know, either a built-up area or mountains and trees and stuff like that. And the traffic on this side was a little bit calmer than it was on the other side. I imagine though in the summer that this is particularly hectic. But yeah, like I say, Montenegro in the summer peak season, or I don't know, wouldn't appeal to me. But I'm not after that sort of holiday. I prefer open spaces, get out on the bike and get around a bit, really. When I got to my destination, I did actually, there was one tunnel that I missed, and I took this little road instead, which was actually quite nice. But when I got to my destination, the apartment wasn't up to my normal standards. About €15 a night, still a good bargain, but nothing to write home about. But the person here is very nice, so it's a place to put my head for one night. And then tomorrow it's Dubrovnik, which is about 56 kilometres away, so I hope to get there within 3 or 4 hours. See you then.
Morning, so about to hit the road again. You can probably just see the bike behind me loaded up, although my face appears to be in shadow, which maybe that's not a bad thing. I've got 50 kilometres to cycle to get to Dubrovnik, so that involves a border crossing, and also it is quite hilly. So I think it's going to take me between 4 or 5 hours. Looking forward to getting to Dubrovnik. Just swing you around so you can take a look at the back of me. You can see the view that I had out over the bay. Had a nice little breakfast area where there's a nice view. And that's all. So I will talk to you in a bit. Thank you all. So leaving town then. It was a nice clear day. Temperature wasn't too hot. I think it got up to about 24, 25 degrees, which in terms of bicycle touring is pretty good. And following it out through Montenegro, this was my last day cycling in Montenegro, and it was just mountains on both sides and a little bit of traffic, as you can see in front, but nothing too bad. Now, for some reason, I thought it was about 20 kilometres to the border. So the border actually came up on me all of a sudden. So, and borders in countries and between countries can be quite different. So what happened on this one is that the passport control, for want of a better word, is actually 10 kilometres within Montenegro. I say 10 kilometres, maybe it was 5, I'm not sure exactly. And then so you get stamped out of Montenegro, cycle a little bit more, let's say it's 5 kilometres, and then you get to the Croatian part where you're then stamped into the border. I mean, obviously, as far as border crossings go, this one is really easy, especially compared to some of the ones I've done. Like the Ethiopian one was awesome. That was just like basically 2 people on a wallpaper pasting table, just stamping people in and out. That was brilliant. But this is very well run. I'm on a bike, so there's no queue here, but I will get to the front anyway. Generally speaking, people just wave you to the front, or you just weave in and out the traffic until you get to the front. This was a simple matter, you know, no worries. You can see there's just a couple of vehicles in front of me. As I leave that side and cycle out towards the Croatian part, I can see the people queuing up to come in to Montenegro. Now, I guess there's a few reasons why there's more people coming in than out. It could be that people are heading through and they're heading on the way to Greece. So from Germany to Greece is a popular run, so it could be that, who knows. Anyway, this is the sign which is saying that I'm leaving Montenegro. And for whatever reason, borders are always in the most awkward places. Like this one's on the top of a mountain. I can't tell you how many times it's been at the top of a hill, the border control. Anyway, there's always a downhill, and I'm on the downhill section now. So on this little downhill section, maybe I should talk about Montenegro. Okay, so I'm not in a mad rush to get back there. It was a nice enough country. There were some nice enough areas, but for bicycle touring, it didn't really appeal to me. It was just the narrowness of the roads. And now I'm in Croatia. You can see the road looks almost the same, but it isn't. It's just fractionally wider, and it does make all the difference. So it means that when those big trucks are passing by, there is a lot more room. So already I'm a big fan of Croatia, but obviously my first destination is Dubrovnik, and this is somewhere I've been really looking forward to for quite some time. And I'm due to meet the missus here, so we're going to spend 4 days in Dubrovnik. And 3 months ago, I'd arranged the dates to come in, and I said, oh yeah, I'll be at this accommodation at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And guess what? Yeah, I was there at 2 o'clock. That's what I call timing. So in Croatia, a lot of the road is going to follow the coast, and indeed today it did as well. Now the thing is, I can see it from the bike, but you can't see it from where my camera is. So I decided to do a bit of a U-turn so that you can see it as well. Although there will be plenty more shots, no doubt. But anyway, this is, once I do the U-turn, this is the bay in front of me, which is very scenic, and this is the area that I've just cycled from. So a lot of this part of the coastline is going to look like this, I believe. And yeah, so it's very beautiful, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. There was quite a few little rest stops. I don't know if you just saw those seats, and I took half an hour out to enjoy the view in what they call the Dubrovnik Riviera. And that's my first glance of Dubrovnik over there. So we will get closer and it will look a lot better, honestly. That was some dodgy camera angle there, wasn't it? But never mind. So that's me cycling towards Dubrovnik, as you see there. There's been a few hills today, but nothing that couldn't be handled. And there we have Dubrovnik. So I will probably cut off here and speak just a little bit from the other camera. Go. Hi there, so I've made it to Dubrovnik, and you can see Dubrovnik behind me. That looks pretty good. I'm not going to lie, sometimes when you travel a lot, it's easy to become jaded with places and go, yeah, I've seen that before, but nah, that looks pretty special. So I've got 4 days here, and I'm going to take some time off the bike, spend it exploring the old city, see what it's all about, and I'll make one big video of Dubrovnik just for you guys, because I know you like that sort of thing. So I will speak to you in a bit when I've arrived at the apartment. Cheers for now.
Hello there, so this is the apartment in Dubrovnik, and the missus is coming over for a few days as well. Don't know if I've mentioned that already. So we've got this booked for 4 nights, and that's the bedroom, obviously, very nice, and the kitchenette, so it has a kettle as well. They even left us some coffee, of which I've already had the good ones. Left us a bottle of wine as well, which was very nice of them, although I won't be drinking that. I'm sure I know somebody that will. Fridge and a freezer. And again, they'd left us some sweets, but mysteriously, they've all been eaten by someone. I don't know how or who did that. Never mind. Sofa, TV, and the bathroom and the shower, etc., etc. And this is on the edge of town, which is about 3.5 kilometres away from the old city. And so we'll probably need to get a bus in to see the city. And as you can see there on the computer, I am working on putting together this very video you're watching now. How good is that? So what else is there to say? I'll probably go quiet on the vlogging front for a couple of days. So I just want to spend some time enjoying Dubrovnik with the missus, obviously. And after that, I will put live a post about Dubrovnik, a video about Dubrovnik, and then hit the road once more. So for now, thank you very much for watching this video and following the channel, and I will speak to you later. Have yourselves a great weekend. Cheers.